Good deal. All right, so welcome to Thursday evening rest and reset, kind of a yin restorative mashup. And tonight we're doing full-on, primarily restorative poses. And our theme tonight is rest and digest. So many of you who are on the screen right now with me and who will be watching this later are in the final days of the spring community cleanse. So I want to give you a little shout out and a plug to keep going. You're almost there. We're like, tomorrow's the last day of Kitchery, although I'm really enjoying it this time around. But anyway, so our theme tonight is rest and digest. Tomorrow is our big final day of ghee and kitchery, where we'll flush the colon, flush the liver, gallbladder, colon, and start anew on Saturday with a brand new, shiny, clean temple that's ready for renovations. So in addition to digestion through our stomach, we also digest through all of our sense organs. Now, according to Ayurveda, anything that we take on board through our eyes, our ears, our touch, our smell, everything that we take on board through our sense organs gets digested, or it doesn't, right? Just like the food and drink we consume, it either gets digested or it doesn't, because either our digestive system is compromised or what we're consuming is not recognized as real food. So you can take that same theory, apply it to mental digestion. Whatever we're taking on board mentally, books that we read, movies we watch, the news that we watch or listen to, the conversations that we allow ourselves or invite ourselves into or invite others into, we're either going to digest that well and properly, or we're not, because either the channels in the mind are somewhat compromised, maybe a little clogged, or because what we're taking on board isn't appropriate for our constitution. An example is someone with a high Vata constitution. Chances are good that if she watches Walking Dead too many times in a row, she's going to have nightmares and stay up at night. So it's just, that's just one example of mental mental toxicity that's not being processed efficiently or effectively enough. So it's causing disturbances elsewhere. So just as much as we spend our time on the digestion through the belly, so to speak, we also want to be sure that we're spending time on what we're digesting in our minds. So having said that, flying into restorative yoga, I want you to have, if you've got access to 2 bolsters, that'd be great. If not, grab a couple of blankets that you can roll up and to make something like a bolster. I would like for you to have 2 blocks. At least 1 is good, but 2 if you've got them. And you can use shoe boxes, you can use thick, heavy books. And then I would also like you to have a blanket. Now, the blanket we're going to use fairly soon in the practice, and a blanket comes off of your home yoga shelf like this. So I'm going to have you fold it in thirds so that you have just a fairly tight little burrito like this. And then set that aside. We're going to come to it in a moment. Now we're going to begin our practice. Oh, and before we do set up your space. Light your candles, put on your spa music or whatever you need. Turn on a heater if you need it, but get cozy. And we're going to begin down on our belly in what's called crocodile pose. So you come all the way down, stacking one hand on top of the other, and then resting your forehead on the back of your hands. Elbows are bent and out to the side. While you're down here, I want you to feel your breath as it moves into your body, inviting your belly to gently press against the mat as you breathe in And softly deflate as you breathe out. In this shape, the diaphragm is asked to work just a little harder. It's a nice pose to begin strengthening the diaphragm. As the diaphragm pushes downward on the inhalation, all those organs in the abdomen have to go somewhere, so they press into the floor. And as you exhale, your diaphragm gently springs upward back to its right size. We're going to stay in crocodile for another 30 seconds, and I would encourage you to give yourself a body scan, moving from your feet up the backs of your legs into your tush. Notice if you're holding tension, particularly through the buttocks, the lower back. As your breath draws your diaphragm downward, I want you to see if you can get a sense of your lower back broadening as you inhale. Take a look at what hand is on top and make a mental post-it note of that. We're going to come back to this shape in a moment. But for now, I'm going to have you place your hands underneath your shoulders, lift yourself up. Let's rock back into child's pose. And how you take the shape is up to you, what feels good in your body. You can bring your knees together, resting your belly on your thighs, or take your knees slightly apart so your belly can relax between your knees. Draw yourself up onto your hands and your knees. We're going to come back into crocodile, but we're going to spice it up just a little bit. This rolled up blanket burrito that you made for yourself, you're going to slide that across your sticky mat and then bring yourself forward, positioning that blanket directly under your belly. So right above your hip points, your ASIS, yet below your ribs. And now the pressure is going to be up to you. You can stay up on your forearms like this, or go ahead and come down, stacking the opposite hand on top now, resting your forehead in your hands. I want you to wiggle, jiggle your butt from side to side a couple times, jiggle your legs back and forth to encourage a sense of ease and relaxation through your legs. Breathing deeply, breathing rich and full breaths. Notice how the addition of the blanket changes things in your body, in what you're feeling. And maybe you've got a stronger sense of the pulsing going on. Come up onto your elbows. You can bring your hands underneath your shoulders once again, and we'll lift up slowly and settle into child's pose once more. And slide your blanket out of the way. Ooh, let your belly be soft. Soft and full. Observe any gurgling, any murmuring. And rise up slowly. We're going to come into lying side stretch now. So this is where your bolster will come in handy. If you have a round bolster, that's the one that I would recommend starting with. And again, you can always use a rolled up blanket or a bath towel or a couple of them to make a DIY, an impromptu bolster. And then you can use this blanket burrito that you had a few moments ago and take it up towards the top of your mat. And then we're going to cut a seat with the bolster snug against our left hip. And then from here, you'll take a deep breath in, breathe into your left ribs, left lung, and then drape yourself over the bolster. And then you've got this blanket for your head. So now your left shoulder, hopefully, can be fairly free of any impingement. It's just resting on the mat between your bolster and your blanket. And then here we go, lying side stretch. So one of my favorite, all-time favorite restorative shapes. Really nice for stretching the side waist that would be the right side in this position. So think about your ascending colon, right? Moves up from just inside of the right hip point and moves up the torso just to the low ribs and then goes across with the transverse colon. So you might consider lengthening, stretching the colon, definitely getting a big yawn through your liver, your right kidney. Anything goes with your legs. You can keep your knees bent like I'm doing, or you can stretch your legs down the length of the mat. And then anything goes with your right arm. You can keep your right arm at your side, or if your shoulder approves, you can sweep your right arm over your head, bringing your fingertips to the floor beyond your head. And then from here, brief body scan, looking for areas that aren't quite ready to let go yet, areas that are still a little tensed up from the day or the week. Monitor the gripping of your jaw. Let's try to minimize that. And then for the next 4 minutes, 4+ minutes, we let the pose do the work. And begin to move your toes and your fingers. If your legs are straight, bend your knees and draw them up towards your bolster. And you can bring your right arm to your side once more if it's been over your head. So the exit strategy is to come up onto your left elbow and rest your head in your left hand. Great. Now we're ready to come up all the way. Woo. We'll do the other side. So you can make a 180-degree turn. I'm going to flip my setup so that I'm continuing to speak towards the camera. You'll snug the bolster against your right hip. Now your right side is completely just expanded and stretched out, open, receptive. So big breath in, and then drape your right waist over the bolster. Settle your head on the blanket. And here we are, round two. Knees can be bent or legs can be straight. Explore both ways and see which one you like best. Left arm can remain at your side or go up over your head. Now, if you're a visual type person, descending colon runs along the left side and just kind of underneath your rib. Down to the rectum. Stretching your stomach, left kidney. Brief body scan. Doing a little mental scope, an inner scope, looking for tension, and perhaps even directing your breath to that area. Imagining that you could bathe any areas of tension, of aggravation or agitation, bathing those areas with prana.
Begin to move your toes and your fingers. And pull your knees up to your bolster. Place your left arm at your side. Gently rising up onto your right elbow, rest your head in your right hand. Good, and come all the way up. And I just want you to find a seat that feels easy in your body. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest. If you feel good about closing your eyes, go for it. And as you inhale, breathe into the hand that's at your belly, then the hand to your chest. Almost like you're filling up your vessel from the bottom up. Great. Bring your hands down and clear your runway. We're going to come onto our back now. And I would like for you to have either a block on either side of your mat or one of your bolsters on either side of your mat. I'll use a block. We'll come to them in a moment, but having something, it'll be for a twist, right? So we're gonna rest our knees onto whatever you choose, either your bolster or your block. But we'll get there. Right now, just come to your back. Slowly. Ooh. So once on your back, I'm gonna have you take one hand right over your navel, kind of cup it, kind of dome your hand over your navel. And then you can set your other hand on top of that, making a little tent over your navel called the Nabi Marma in Sanskrit. All of our nadis, our channels of energy, are said to emanate from the navel, all 72,000 plus of them. And as you lie here with your hands cupping your navel, I just want you to notice if you see, or not necessarily see, but sense or feel anything. What's the temperature? Is there any gurgling, murmuring, any noise, any pulsing at all? And then at this point, I'm going to have you take your fingertips, resting your left hand on top of your right hand, left fingers on top of your right fingers. And you're going to go in the direction of digestion. So start just to the inside of your right hip point and gently press, and then move up a half an inch and gently press. You're just going to do a little massage, circulating around your belly. Coming across your low ribs and then down your left side, very gently, not too much pressure. We're going to make 3 circles like this. Gently massaging the ascending colon, moving across the transverse colon just below your ribs, and down the descending colon. And as you gently press your fingertips into your skin, you can maybe make a little circle if you want. Just one little circular motion. Soft belly, soft and supple. Fantastic. Good. 3 times. Take your time. When you finish up, I'm going to have you bring your knees to your chest. Cupping your kneecaps with your hands. Breathe in and gently press your knees away from your body, just until your arms go straight, but keep the hand-knee connection. And as you breathe out, bend your elbows and slowly pull your knees back to your chest. 4 more times. Inhaling, slowly press away. Notice your lower back rises ever so slightly from the floor. And exhaling, soft belly, knees to chest. 3 more times. Great. Now you'll set your left foot to the floor. Keep your right knee into your chest. And 3 times, you're going to press your right knee away and then gently pull it into towards your ribs. It's kind of like you're pumping the aquifer. Gently press away and bring it in. 1 more time. Good. At this point, you're going to cross your right leg all the way over your left leg. I'm going to have you shuffle your hips over towards the right edge of your sticky mat. Your hips will be off center from your shoulders. And with your arms outstretched, take your knees over to the left. And here's where your block or your bolster will come into the picture. Give your right knee something on which to rest. We'll stay in these twists for about 3.5 minutes on each side. If at any time, of course, your body starts to revolt, your low back doesn't like it, your shoulders don't like it, or anywhere in between or apart from, you know the deal. If you don't like it, change it. If you can't get out of discomfort, get out of the pose and set your body up in a way, shape, or form that that is going to be much more pleasant and enjoyable. Okay. Slowly, time to come back up. I like to bring my left hand underneath my left knee or right knee rather, and gently help bring my legs back up to center. And you can uncross your legs and take your time shifting your hips back to the center of your mat. Bring your left knee to your chest. Keep your right knee bent and foot to the floor. And 3 times we'll gently pump, inhaling, take the knee away, and exhale, draw it in. Twice more. You'll cross your left leg all the way over your right leg. And again, shuffle your hips, this time over to the left side of your sticky mat. Now you'll drop your knees to the right. And set something underneath your knees. Rolled up blanket, block, bolster. Something for support. So the body can, it's like going into a trust fall. The body can just relax into it. The body can just trust that there's something there to hold it up. No strain or tension required. We can soften our muscle activation. Okay. Twist number 2. Time to come back up. You can bring your right hand underneath your knees, and a gentle little nudge, bring your knees back up to center. And cross your legs and square your hips. Next up is Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana. So again, with either blocks on either side or a bolster or blankets on either side of your mat, bring your feet together at the center of your mat, and then drop your knees out to the sides, and then shift the soles of your feet together. And then you can adjust the height. The blocks are nice because you can always adjust the height of the blocks. But the blocks also can kind of be sharp against your outer thigh. So I want you to, again, just going to stay here for about 3 minutes, maybe 2.5. So I want you to find the shape, the support that feels most in alignment with what your body would like tonight. And then you can place one hand on your belly, one hand on your low ribs. Breathing from the bottom up. So the beginning of your in-breath moves into your hand that's on your belly. And then it floats upward towards the hand that's at your low ribs until it finally crests at your collarbones. And your exhalation is simply a passive recoil. Gentle contracting of the muscles between your ribs as you exhale. Placing your right hand to the outside of your right leg. Slowly lift your right knee up. And with the help of your left hand, lift your left knee up, setting your feet once again on your mat. Roll over to your favorite side. And press yourself up. Love this class. All right. Now, the final is what I call the lazy boy. Take a block at the top of your mat, up at the head of your mat on its second height. Make a ramp with your rectangle bolster if you have one. Take your blanket, and it can stay in its burrito roll. You're going to place that up at the top of your bolster. And then your second bolster, if you have access to one, or another rolled up blanket or pillow or two, come underneath your knees. And then scoot yourself back towards the ramp behind you. You might give yourself about a fist width between your tush and the bolster. You're not slammed right up against the bolster. Then you're going to roll yourself back. Yay. Take your knees over the round bolster. Your legs wiggle jiggle a couple times from side to side so they can soften up, loosey-goosey through the muscles. Adjust the pillow under your head. Here we are. Lazy boy asana. Beautiful. Bring your arms out to your sides. Turn your palms up so you're in a gesture of being open and receptive. A combination of letting go as well as receiving. And at this point, again, if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, do so. And I would just ask you to begin establishing a rhythm to your breath print, inhaling and exhaling for a count of 4. I'm not attached to how fast or slow you count. You shouldn't be either. But just find a rhythm that is sustainable for you. By bringing this simple action of counting the duration of our breathing pattern, we're beginning to clear the mind of mental toxicity, or what we call mental ama. Giving the mind something to focus on other than the drama of the week or any anxieties about what's ahead. The simple act of counting the rhythm of your breath draws you into the present moment, brings you here now. When that pattern becomes effortless for you, you can begin experimenting, if you want, with lengthening the duration of your exhalations. Exhaling for 6 or a few rounds. Maybe eventually exhaling for 8.
Now, at this time, I would invite you to let go of counting or manipulating your breath. And if you have the time and the space to stay in Shavasana for another 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, then please do. And the rest of us will begin moving fingers and toes. Stretching through arms and legs. Pulling up your knees one at a time. You can roll that bolster out from underneath your feet. Roll over to your favorite side. And lift yourself up. Great. And with 2 palms together, we'll bring the base of our thumbs to our forehead, to our third eye. May we have a clear and peaceful mind. And bring your fingertips to your lips for clear and peaceful words. And then rest your hands at your heart for a clear and peaceful heart. Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate each of you for showing up tonight. Send the recording out in a bit. Sleep well and digest well. Good night.